Between Florida and New Jersey, pressed into the earth across 8 states, there are up to 500,000 identical ellipses, all the same shape, all pointing in the same direction, all with raised sandy rims on the same side. Some of them are still lakes. Some have dried up. Some are now farmland. But from above, from satellite, from LiDAR imaging, the pattern is unmistakable. Nobody agrees on what made them. In Season 1, we covered what happened 12,900 years ago. The Younger Dryas event, the geological evidence, the civilizations that disappeared. Tonight, we're not covering that ground again. This time, the physical evidence that is still sitting on the surface of the earth right now, unexplained, officially categorized as wind-shaped lakes, and pointing at a single spot in Michigan. Here's what we actually know, and it's stranger than the theory. The Carolina Bays are elliptical depressions concentrated along the Atlantic coastal plain, from New Jersey to Florida. They range in size from less than an acre to thousands of acres. Estimates of their number vary enormously, from 40,000 to 500,000 depending on the mapping method. A 2016 study using LiDAR data found over 23,000 in a partial scan alone. They share distinctive features across every documented location. Elliptical shape, not circular, not random. Sandy raised rims, consistently on the southeastern and northeastern edges. Northwest to southeast orientation, consistent across the entire distribution. The mainstream explanation: wind-shaped lakes, formed when prevailing winds during the last ice age pushed water into elliptical shapes. Serious scholarly position. Explains some things. But it has a problem. When you project the long axes of the Carolina Bays westward, using modern LiDAR data and correcting for the Earth's curvature and the Coriolis effect, they don't point at a general region. They converge on a specific location, Saginaw Bay, Michigan, not wind directions, not random variation, 45,000 bays, individually measured, pointing at the same spot in Michigan. 12,900 years ago, Saginaw Bay was not a bay. It was the southern margin of the Laurentide ice sheet, the vast glacier that covered most of North America. Multiple kilometers of ice sitting directly over what is now Michigan. The Younger Dryas impact hypothesis proposes that an extraterrestrial object struck or exploded over the Laurentide ice sheet around 12,900 years ago. Not on solid ground. On ice. If that impact happened, on a glacier rather than rock, it would explain something that has puzzled researchers. There is no impact crater. You don't leave a crater if you hit ice. The ice absorbs the energy and ejects material outward in a radial pattern. The impact hypothesis proposes this. The Saginaw impact ejected massive blocks of glacial ice across a wide area. Those ice blocks traveled ballistic trajectories, some hundreds of kilometers, and landed across the Atlantic coastal plain. Where each block hit, it compressed the wet sediment beneath into an elliptical depression. The direction of travel determined the orientation. Every trajectory points back to the same source. Saginaw Bay, Michigan. The Younger Dryas impact hypothesis is actively debated in peer-reviewed journals. The mainstream consensus still favors wind and water processes for the Carolina Bays. The impact community argues LiDAR data changes the picture substantially. What is not disputed: the orientation. The convergence point. Wind-shaped lake formation does not adequately explain why 45,000 individually measured ellipses point at the same spot. And the Carolina Bays are not the only anomaly the official record is struggling to explain, and what is sitting on the ocean floor off Louisiana is the piece that connects everything. The Gulf of Mexico coastline looked completely different 12,000 years ago. Sea levels were significantly lower. The Chandeleur Islands, a chain of uninhabited barrier islands now 50 miles east of New Orleans, were not islands. They were dry land. This is not contested. This is mainstream geology. Whatever was living on that coastline, whatever was built on it, is now underwater. And what is under the water near the Chandeleur Islands is unusual. Since the 1970s, a retired architect named Georges Gelée has been diving and running sonar surveys near the Chandeleur Islands. He has documented what he describes as underwater structures, large formations he interprets as buildings, and, most dramatically, a pyramid-shaped structure approximately 280 feet tall. He calls the site Crescentis. He believes it dates to approximately 12,000 years ago. The academic community has not validated Gelée's specific claims. An LSU archaeology professor suggested the granite formations could be remnants of an artificial reef from the 1940s. A Texas A&M study attributed some of the granite to ship ballast. But here is what everyone agrees on. There is granite under Chandeleur Sound. Granite is not native to Louisiana or Mississippi. It does not occur naturally there. Something put it there, whether it is ship ballast, a mid-century artificial reef, or something older. The question of what is under that water and how it got there has not been fully answered. And the coastline it sits on was above water 12,000 years ago. Around the same time, something was pressing 500,000 ellipses into the Earth 800 miles to the northeast. I am not claiming these two things are connected. I am claiming they both exist, and that the official record has not satisfactorily explained either of them. 500,000 ellipses, all pointing the same direction. Granite that does not belong on the ocean floor. A coastline that was dry land 12,000 years ago. The landscape of North America is showing us something. There is a documentation gap, not a conspiracy. A genuine absence of systematic investigation of both the Carolina Bay's convergence and the Gulf Coast underwater archaeology. The research is not complete. Thanks for watching Unburied Remnants. If you like the content, please like, comment, and subscribe to help support the channel. Stay curious, keep digging. The rabbit hole goes deeper.